In today's video, New York City just elected Democrat socialist Zohran Mamdani as mayor, and it did not even take 24 hours before he started begging for money. Because what says, hey, thank you for electing me, more than, can you send me more money now? Sure, he's promising free bus rides, but now he's asking his supporters to send donations through his website. Because why come up with your own funds when you can just take everybody else's? As always, the best way you can show your support and that you enjoy the content is by smashing that like button. That tells me you like the video. And subscribe for more breakdowns just like this. Let's start with Mamdani's first press conference, the one where he announced his transition team. It was there where he made it clear to his supporters that he'll be needing a little financial assistance to ensure his transition meets the moment as he prepares to take office January 1st. In other words, before he's even sworn in, he's already asking for help funding the process.
Well, thank you for the question. It's transition2025.com. And, there were a few months ago where I told supporters across the city to stop donating. And today I am asking them to start once again. And I am asking them to do so because of the fact that a transition that can meet the moment of preparing for January 1st is one that will require staff, it will require research, it will require infrastructure. And those are things that we will have to provide. And I'm excited for the fact that it will be funded by the very people who brought us to this point, the working people who have been left behind by the politics of the city.
Yeah, so the very same working people that you campaigned on helping because you understood their pain, the ones struggling to ease the burden of financial hardship, because New York City has become so unaffordable that you now have young people who actually see something wrong with capitalism, are the ones who you are asking to donate to your transition fund. New York City is cooked when the guy in charge thinks it makes sense to beg the same people who are already struggling for even more money. Zohran Mamdani says he doesn't like capitalism, but it looks like that's exactly what he could use right now. His entire plan to fix the city seems to revolve around taking from the very people who work hard, build businesses, create jobs, and help others benefit from capitalism, all so he can hand out more freebies.
Good morning, New York City, and thank you. Last night we made history. And today, we begin the work of making a new administration. Welcome to the transition. This is the period over the next few months where we build a city hall that delivers on the promises of our campaign, to make New York City affordable and to make government accountable to the people it serves. As we prepare to govern, we'll start announcing the leaders who will help implement our agenda. People like deputy mayors who oversee entire areas of government and the commissioners who carry out the critical work of city agencies. These appointments will be driven by excellence, integrity, and hunger to solve old problems with new solutions. Talking to organizers on the front lines of the fight to improve our city, government veterans with proven track records, policy experts from around the country and the world, and working people who know better than anyone what our neighborhoods deserve. And this will be a period, like the campaign we ran and the city hall to come, defined by transparency. Because New Yorkers deserve a government they can trust. On January 1st, I will be your mayor. New Year's Day and a new era for this city. Oh, and one more thing. Remember how I told you a few months ago to stop sending us money? You can start again. This transition requires staff, research, and an infrastructure that can meet this moment. And it will be made possible by the people who built and believe in this movement. So I hope you'll make a donation at transition2025.com. Now let's get to work.
Creating a commercial begging people for money when you know everyone is struggling is downright diabolical. Now, it's not unusual for a mayor to raise funds for their transition. Even the current mayor, Eric Adams, brought in $2 million for his transition. But a lot of those donors were real estate developers, hedge fund managers, big business owners. Those are the very people Mamdani spent his entire campaign painting as the enemy, the ones who are not paying their fair share and need to do more. Now, instead of going to them, he's asking the same struggling people he claimed to represent to send him money. Now, Mamdani is already disappointing Democrats, and it did not take long. His victory speech, laced with Marxist references and aggression, a far cry from the guy who claimed that he would bring people together. Instead, he sounded more like a man ready to storm the White House steps.
But I think he missed an opportunity. I think the Mamdani that we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, who was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing, was not present in that speech. And I think that Mamdani is the one you need to hear from tonight. There are a lot of people trying to figure out, can I get on this train with him or not? Is he going to include me? Is he going to be more of a class warrior even in office? I think he missed a chance tonight to open up and bring more people into the tent. I think his tone was sharp. I think he was using the microphone in a way that he was almost yelling. And that's not the Mamdani that we've seen on TikTok and the great interviews and stuff like that. So I felt like there's a little bit of a character switch here where the warm, open, embracing guy that's close to working people was not on stage tonight, and there was some other voice on stage. That said, he's very young, and he just pulled off something that's very, very difficult. And I wouldn't write him off, but I think he missed an opportunity to open himself up tonight, and I think that will probably cost him going forward. Scott?
Oh, are you saying he wasn't the unifying voice of a generation that you predicted mere moments ago? Axe, where was the man that you predicted would not slice and dice the... Look, guys, he started his speech by quoting Eugene Debs, who ran for president of the United States 5 times as the Socialist Party of America candidate. He repeatedly attacked people in this... No, I know my socialists. I keep a close eye on them.
Yeah,
I work here. So here's the thing. He went after everybody that he thinks is a problem. People who own things, people who have businesses. He said an interesting quote, "No problem too large for government to solve."
Or too small, important.
And so when you think of the world that way, that every problem, no matter how small or how large, is something for government to do, let me just decipher this for you. Tax increases as far as the eye can see, which means the people who need to provide jobs to the young people that you say need jobs are going to flee as quickly as they possibly can. I think this was a divisive speech, and he clearly sees the world in terms of the people who are oppressing you and the oppressed, and he said the oppressed are now in City Hall.
This is exactly why I call Mamdani the Pied Piper of politics, because sure, when he speaks, it sounds charming, charismatic, even inspiring. He knows how to ignite a crowd and make everything sound like it's going to be great in the beginning. But eventually, the illusion fades and the people realize the music leads to a place you do not want to go. That's why you have some New Yorkers who aren't wasting time anymore and they're fleeing the city. Have you ever had a moment that changed your life? One accident, one employer who doesn't care, one hospital bill you couldn't pay. That's how quick life can change. And when it does, you realize something fast. The big companies, the insurance giants, they don't care about you. They've got teams of lawyers whose only job is to protect their bottom line. But who's protecting you? There's a reason why it feels like traffic always jams when you're running late. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, Morgan & Morgan has fought for the people, not the powerful. With 1,000 plus attorneys and more than 100 offices nationwide, they've recovered over $25 billion for more than 500,000 clients just like you. Whether you're a 41-year-old family man in Florida, struck by a driver who ran a red light, Morgan & Morgan secured a $9.3 million verdict. Or a father and Little League coach who suffered lasting injuries in a car crash, Morgan & Morgan secured a $6.1 million verdict. When you hire them, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. Starting a claim is simple. You can get started right now from your phone. No hassle. You can click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen to see if you have a claim. Their fee is free unless they win. Because when life changes in an instant, you deserve a law firm that's ready to fight for you.
Speaking of Mamdani, the effect of Mamdani in full swing with nervous New Yorkers turning Florida into a real estate hotspot yet again as they look to flee south. Fox Business writing the following, quote, "Election anxiety in New York City has turned into a real estate windfall in South Florida, West Palm Beach and Miami, surpassing New York City as the world's fastest growing wealth hubs." One Florida developer also saying his company has closed more than $100 million in signed contracts from New York buyers just the past few months.
Real estate experts Dolly and Jenny Lenz join me now. Hello, Dolly. Hello, Jenny, as well.
Good morning.
Dolly, what are your clients telling you following Mamdani's big win?
Well, certainly Wall Street got the message, right? Because they're all leaving in droves, building lots of buildings in Dallas. They've been building in Tennessee, building in Florida. So the business people have gotten the message and are implementing action plans to counter it. Individuals have less choice. You know, they have to have a job where they work where they work, and they have to stay in New York, perhaps. They can't just move to Florida.
Right.
They don't have a job there.
Jamie Dimon says you have to be in the office 5 days a week. You're in the office 5 days a week. The other Fortune 100 companies, you have to be in the office on average 4 days a week. So you can't really just up and move like you could over COVID. But people are moving to Florida in droves. They are moving to Texas, where there's opportunity.
Big businesses are already eyeing the exits. Major employers, investors, and even developers are quietly making plans to relocate to states like Texas and Florida, where taxes are lower, regulations are lighter, and the local government actually encourages growth instead of punishing it.
Back to the exchange, Wall Street couldn't stop Mayor Mamdani. Now it has to work with him. That is the headline on a Wall Street Journal piece today following Mamdani's mayoral victory. In an exclusive interview, our own Diana Olick got to actually speak with one of Wall Street's heavyweights about Mamdani's potential policy impact, especially on real estate. Diana, talk to us a little bit about your conversation with Barry Sternlicht.
Right. Well, Dom, I sat down for more than a half an hour just now with Barry Sternlicht, who is the chairman and CEO of Starwood Capital Group, and he had a lot to say about the Mamdani effect, but his message was clear, at least for commercial real estate. Democratic socialism does not work.
So maybe he'll learn from history. Maybe the million people that voted him won't realize that socialism's never worked anywhere on the planet Earth ever. And especially what we'll watch is safety and security. That's the number one thing. If people feel like their kids aren't safe on the streets, they will pull them out of school and they will leave. And if he defunds the police or he doesn't give them the honor and prestige they deserve, I think the city's in for a really tough time. We have a big office here ourselves, and I mean, we'll see how this works, but the team in New York is for the first time saying maybe we should leave.
And I asked him if he had contributed to the Cuomo campaign. He said no. I asked if he had spoken with Mamdani before the election. He also said no, but he said he does expect to see both people and businesses leave New York City.
New York will survive. It survived de Blasio. But it's a shame it's probably going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And that's coming from a business perspective. You know, I am a greater New York area person. This is an amazing city with a great vitality and great youth and energy. But the core issues are not what he's focusing on. We need to increase housing. That's not going to happen easily, right? You need serious subsidies from the government. If they want us to work with unions, you know, the unions have to be more accommodative on their work laws and the wages and everything else. Otherwise, you can't add economically.
And he added that Starwood Capital, of course, has a presence here in New York City, and he said they were already talking about perhaps moving out. But there is just so much more in this interview. Just hear the full 30 minutes. You want to subscribe to the CNBC Property Play newsletter. It'll be out next Tuesday with the full interview, the video podcast.
Businesses were already leaving New York City before Mamdani, and if he implements his woke socialist agenda, it will only drive out more major businesses who don't want to see their companies fail. But it's the small business owners, the people who keep local communities running, from the grocery store owner to the neighborhood bodegas. Many are worried about Mamdani's proposal for government-owned grocery stores.
Did he win, by the way?
He won.
They chose the knucklehead, so we're going to pay for it.
What happens if he opens up the government-run grocery stores?
I'm not with it.
Oh, you don't like the government-run grocery stores?
No.
$30 minimum wage. Can you explain how that might affect businesses?
What the hell? It's over.
How are they going to make payroll? It's just about all the policy that he's trying to do, increasing the workers and the taxes. It's not good.
The minimum wage doesn't help the worker. It just helps the system. Pay more money, more taxes, prices go up.
Overnight, half of them will go out of business.
So I'm in a blue state, I'm sorry, but I've been red my whole life. Democrats always ruin, steal, rob, and lie.
Any thoughts on having him for 4 years?
What I can do is just swallow and try to face it, but it's not easy. We're cooked. We're on the way to becoming a communist state.
The city's in trouble. They're in trouble.
Good luck.
People are already leaving New York City, and they will continue to if Mamdani has his way. Between the taxes, the cost of living, and Mamdani's anti-business policies, it won't be a shocker to see more families, entrepreneurs, and investors head south to places like Florida and Texas. But here's a catch and a message to those people. When you leave, don't bring the same broken ideology that failed you in New York. If you're packing up to move somewhere that values hard work, low taxes, and limited government, but you still believe in big government, anti-capitalist policies that drove you out in the first place, do everyone a favor and stay where you're at. But those are my thoughts. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your comments down below. And as always, you enjoy the content. Best way you can show your support is by smashing that like button. That tells me you like the video, and subscribe for more breakdowns just like this. And as always, until next time,